maybe they think that the best way for them to get back on their feet is to have, recurring government payments. We know that's not the case. We know that, being dependent on the government for everything will not help you get out of poverty, that you should be encouraged to work, all that stuff. But let's say their motivations are good. They're just wrong. But I don't know how they don't see that.
It's probably the most dangerous type of low you can have because it feels good when you get a bunch of money in your debit account. But I think the future ramifications of this, even us, armchair economists, even we are aware that this money doesn't just come out of nowhere.
Well, it does.
They do.
I mean,
Well,
at this point,
it does. It
unfortunately.
does. But I mean, it will eventually have to be.
Yeah, at some point the bubble bursts, right?
Yes.
At some point you realize, if you're just printing money, then why is it worth anything in the first place?
Exactly.
And, that's not to say that socialism is correct and that money's worth nothing. Money is worth something, and we should treat it like it's worth something.
Absolutely. But there are 64 federal legislators who want to keep treating money as if it's nothing. Surprise, surprise, they are all Democrats, representatives and senators. And they have basically come out kind of over the weekend. I mean, this has been bubbling for a while, this general topic. But a letter signed by many said legislators, spearheaded probably one of the more famous names to have signed that letter is Ilhan Omar, who, if you've ever read the Western Journal, I'm sure you've heard of her. And essentially, the Democrats are arguing that there should be an indefinite stimulus program. So essentially, people are going to be getting free money indefinitely. And this idea just really kind of when I first heard about this, I actually thought it was a joke because it just seems so stupid on its face, just for lack of a better term. Joe, I'll go and start with you. What's the game plan from Democrats here? Because this is all 64 federal legislators are Democrats. They are the ones heavily pushing, essentially, recurring stimulus payments.
Yeah, I think the game plan there is to basically. It's always to build dependence on the government, right? Mm-hmm. That being said, I think what they don't realize is that there's something to be said for, if you're going to get rid of welfare payments, if you're going to get rid of a lot of government programs, give people a check instead, right? And there's an argument to be made for that. People know how to spend their money better than the government does. But that's not what they're doing here, right? They're not saying, well, let's get rid of this program, and give it to people instead. They want to throw it on top of the things that people already have. And look, if I'm to act very generously toward their motivations, right? They feel bad for many people who are struggling, right? And I feel bad for those people too. And maybe they think that the best way for them to get back on their feet is to have, recurring government payments. We know that's not the case. We know that, being dependent on the government for everything will not help you get out of poverty, that you should be encouraged to work, all that stuff. But let's say their motivations are good. They're just wrong. I don't know how they don't see that.